The state of the situation of the country, security everywhere. Mr. Tony Unranta joins us now, a public affairs analyst. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
Well then, so much on our hands, also perhaps even just monitoring closely as it does unfold, but there should be light at the end of the tunnel. Do you see any such?
Any what?
Light at the end of the tunnel?
Which tunnel?
Predicating
exactly?
on the president's speech, the insecurity situation in the country.
Well, the insecurity situation should not be unexpected because everybody has admitted that we were sort of caught unawares. Basically, the nation doesn't work. Generally, things haven't been working, and we should not expect that the sector of security should be any different. However, I do know, or I'm privy to the knowledge that there have been a lot of upgrading in security, both methods, equipment, material, and people. If we are focusing on the insecurity that has been created mainly by the bombings of, say, the Boko Haram, we cannot and should not expect overnight results. You do not solve that level of insecurity, which we are calling terrorism, without really looking at how it's being contained in other areas. We can't do it with a lot of human intelligence involved. You must infiltrate the groups. And you must remember that Al-Qaeda generally, for example, does not have an organogram, does not have the kind of structure where you say, if you take A out, you are sure that B, C, D will go. Most of these security terrorist groups in the world have been built around cell systems. That is, they get general training, and then they are dispersed. They live amongst us. They do not need any specific command to make them carry out an attack.
Yeah, but we imagine that the security agencies in the country know this much, but we're still where we are.
Yes, they know that. That's what I'm trying to make you understand. If you were in the security advisor's shoes, for example, and there are 2,000 youths who have been trained covertly somewhere, and now are spread all over Nigeria, and have formed, each one of them has formed a cell unit of about 2-3 people. First of all, remember that you can learn how to make a bomb by just Googling on the internet. Now, but if people have been trained as to how to make specific types of bombs, and then they are dispersed, how do you monitor them? You cannot wake up and say, we're going to crush them with tanks, which was, for example, the first reaction to Boko Haram in Maiduguri. That was the kind of reflex reaction of military men. Who were they going to crush? Did they know who the Boko Haramites were? Did they really know where they are located? Your last guest talked about surveillance, satellite surveillance. How do you watch what you don't know? It's when I know you are involved in terrorism. For example, I know your cell phone number, and I use the GPRS system to track you, that I can keep track of your movements.
But is it acceptable for government to tell us they don't know about certain things?
It's a question of being realistic. It's a question of America being bombed, the two towers going down, nearly, the Pentagon nearly going down, and the president nearly going down.
Yeah, but their reaction, the way they reacted to it.
How did they react
to it? The way we are responding to it.
No, how did they react to it?
Of course, we've seen the results.
They reacted to it. No. They reacted to it by identifying a foreign body.
Have we identified anybody?
Wait a minute. This? And this foreign body, they now identified it as an enemy. If, for example, it is being said that we are suspecting that certain arms, small arms, are proliferating the West African sub-region from the Libyan crisis, and what do we do? Do we attack Libya? No. It takes these things. We have to be pragmatic about certain things. Our expectations must be within reason. It's not within reason. It's not within reason for us to expect that our inefficient system, our no data-based system, can track people down. At this point, we are now starting from the foundation. We are starting to create what they call a fusion center. In security terms, that's what you need. You have to have a fusion center which brings in all the information. Now, which information are they working on? We must realize that there's a dearth of information in Nigeria, maybe calculatedly, but the fact remains that a lot of what you don't know who is born, so where he dies, all right, what happens to him, so how do you track him?
Does that presuppose that, well, since they don't have any information, they don't have data, they're building from foundation, are Nigerians supposed to just, all right, let's sit back and wait and see when they get up to speed?
Nigerians, your last guest said something about pray. Maybe that's what you need, because the facts are the facts. You have to build a house. You need cement. You don't have cement. So you have to wait until you get cement.
So while you're... You said the last guest talked about prayer, and then
I'm not talking about prayer. I just give an example.
Now, when we say prayer, does prayer now take the place of putting the hand on deck, or putting structures in place, or institutions in place?
Nigeria is a very God-centered country. We have faith-based organizations all over the place. So you will notice that in the past decades, there has been an emphasis on let us pray and hope for the best. However, in this case, we know that the security agencies are retooling. The NSA, for example, is reinventing the whole system.
In what ways?
They are getting more human intelligence on the ground. Now, for you to get human intel, if you do your research, as somebody said earlier, if you research, human intel is very costly. Costly in terms of lives, costly in terms of money. Because what you are going to try to do is go into those organizations, have people there who will report back to you. Now, don't forget that man that goes into an organization as a member and is reporting back to another an enemy organization will be seen by the members of the first organization as a traitor.
All right.
What if they catch him? So you must pay him enough to make him sacrifice or be willing to sacrifice his life.
If they are doing all of those, why is the president then seemingly unimpressed when he says, well, security agencies, you all have got to cooperate amongst yourself and get rid of this interagency rivalry, because it seems to be stalling, if I not seem to be, it is a bane, as it were.
that interagency rivalry between intelligence and security agencies goes on all around the world. In America, you find the FBI being suspicious of the CIA.